That's that. All right, what I really want to take this on for is to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike Tomlin. I've been watching the Steelers for 50 years. And over the last 10 years, or maybe 10, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, I've noticed how uncomplexed and unsophisticated and how uncreative the offense is. When Ben Roethlisberger was there, and Le'Veon, and we had the defense, and we had stars, we had running backs, we had all these quality players at these skill positions, but we weren't winning Super Bowl. We weren't even winning playoff games. Well, we did win a Super Bowl. Actually, I think we won 2. But no, Tomlin won 1. And that was like in his rookie year, or second year. And they say that was from Bill Cowher's team. And it's not that I against Tomlin. It's not that I want him to fail. I just think he's part of the problem. And I think it was Pat McAfee or somebody said, Colin Hurd or somebody said, you know, with Tomlin, you're going to get toughness. You're going to get toughness over creativity and sophistication. And I agree with that, whether it's true or not. You know, I agree with that. Another person said he could be a CEO coach, where he delegates more complex, the more complex sophistication I believe an offense needs in the NFL to survive in this new NFL. Because you can't run over everybody. And we did play bully ball against Seattle. And with Mason Rudolph, which I'll get to soon, it kind of opened up the offense. But we actually played bully ball. We played hard and tough. We were running over people, knocking people down. And I think that was because the spark that Mason Rudolph brought to the team. Knowing that the offense is going to go out there now and has a chance to be successful. Because right now, I don't even think it was Matt Canada. Everybody was fire Matt Canada, fire Matt Canada. I don't think it was Matt Canada now. I think it was the quarterbacks. It was Kenny Pickett and Mitch Trubisky. And it would be really cool, or whatever, if Matt Canada tweets out saying that he wanted Mason from the beginning and didn't want Kenny Pickett and didn't want Trubisky. But, you know, he's not going to speak out. You know, that's not the Steeler way. He's not going to go public with it. He's not going to cause that drama. Because as soon as Mason came in and was able to execute the offense, it opened it up. Once Mason came in and they had to fear the deep ball, the teams had to realize that Mason will throw the ball down the middle of the field. He can hit receivers all over the field. The defenses, I saw defenses playing against Pittsburgh with all 11 people within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. That's like total, complete disrespect to your quarterback. You look at the defense, there's no deep safety, there's no cover 2. All of them are just right there at the line of scrimmage because they know. It's like they're not even worried about it. Or they're at the not sidelines, at the hash, you know, out when they're like real far at the edges. I can't think of words today. I don't know what's wrong with me. Probably them brownies last night. But he'll be outside the hashes because they know Kenny Pickett can't get the ball there, and he gets in the pocket. He runs around before the pocket even collapses. He doesn't stay there long enough to let routes develop. Whereas, like I said, the most beautiful thing I saw, one of the most beautiful things I saw Mason Rudolph do was stand flat-footed in the pocket. I haven't seen a Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback stand flat-footed in the pocket. I can't even remember Ben doing that. Ben always had happy feet to a certain extent. Kenny Pickett, he's always happy feet moving. Trubisky, they take off way too early. You don't give you don't give your receivers time enough to develop their routes and get open downfield. Because by the time they hike the ball, you get back to you take 3 steps drop, you are ready to run. You think you're getting tackled. Regardless of how bad the offensive line may or may not be. And true, the offensive line hasn't been the best over the last couple of years or so. But still, there's been a lot of times where Kenny Pickett has run himself into trouble. Just literally run himself out of a fairly decent pocket and run himself right into a sack. And there's also times where Dan Moore, somebody just completely missed a block. Mason Cole is somebody. These are names that always get thrown out there. And then, he didn't have no choice of getting sacked. That happens. But Mason stood in there. Mason was able to stand in there and deliver the ball downfield. Because you're going to get hit. You're going to get hit, but you got to stand there. And Mason has a quick release. But they also say that Kenny Pickett release is too slow. You got to wind up. For him, if you have the arm strength, some quarterbacks have the arm strength to make, like a Mahomes, he has the arm strength to make that pass downfield while he's running on one foot, looking the other way. He literally has the strength and the poise, or not even poise, the strength to throw the ball like that. It doesn't seem Kenny Pickett has that. It's like Kenny Pickett can't get the ball downfield, even if he does get a proper quarterback stand to pass. It's like there's a certain, they believe that science has, they believe that the science has figured out what the best, most optimal stance is for a quarterback when throwing the ball, as far as muscles and positioning and balance and stability. And even when Kenny Pickett gets that, which is rare in the NFL, it doesn't happen every time, he still doesn't get the ball where it needs to be. But Mason is able to. For whatever reason, quick release, boom, it's gone. Whereas Kenny Pickett got to wind up. And Trubisky, the word on Trubisky, he's done. We don't want to see him no more. When they were calling Mason a bum, I didn't like it. I was like, he really didn't have a fair chance. And I heard on the program, they explained Mason's opportunities in the past, and they were worse than I thought. They weren't worse than I thought. He was thrown in there, 24-hour notice. He didn't get to play he didn't get a chance to really. No, actually they said he did good. He did good his first few games. He had really good numbers, high quarterback rating. And then he got hit by somebody. Somebody hit him, and he got, a concussion or something. And they say that just messed him up. So ever since that, he was never the same. But now he's had a few years, sitting on the bench or doing whatever, being disrespected that way. So now, he finally got in. Because they went out and they got Mr. Trubisky before the draft, flat out said, but basically said, Mason, you ain't the one. We're getting somebody else. Not even giving him a chance. Then they went out and drafted Kenny Pickett, rookie, and he went to right to the number 2 quarterback. Mason was the number 3. And they're like, well, Mason, if you want to go, go. Basically, that's what they were saying. If you want to go, go. But he didn't, and I was like, and I felt bad for him for having to come back to that mess, being disrespected like that. Ben disrespected him, but Ben said that he didn't have a problem with Mason Rudolph. He had a problem with the Steelers using that pick to get a quarterback that they didn't need because he was going to be there. Now, of course, there wouldn't even be anything wrong or bad, whatever that means, if Ben felt threatened by it or was resentful because they drafted a quarterback and he's there. That's almost what it's for. They say Mr. Clinton them do that. They say Mr. Clinton does that. Bands do that. They'll bring in somebody else just to know that the bass player, hey, look what we doing. Put a little heat under them. And I get that. And you're supposed to be a little bit, feel a certain way, salty if they do that. Just like Kenny Pickett, they say there was some saltiness or some, I can't think of the word, or some he had a problem or some disgruntledness with him being benched or him being playing behind Mason. Well, Mason out there doing all good, and they showed Kenny Pickett's face when the crowd was hollering Mason, Mason, Mason. They showed, of course they're gonna find a picture of him looking a certain kind of way, and I get it. That's the media, that's TV. I get it. That's no problem. So they damn, look at it. They got it painted. Remember how we was watching this thing? I'm gonna get pictures on the way back. Watching this thing from when it first started, way, way, way back. They probably gonna want $1 million for this. Do you see it? They probably gonna want $1 million for it. So you're supposed to be a little softer. You lose your job and somebody else gets your job. I understand that. I get it. You're supposed to be a little salty or whatever. It's competitive. It's a competitive thing. So I don't have a problem with Ben being salty for Mason or Pickett being salty for Mason again. Mason. And one thing about Mason Rudolph, he's a devout Christian. He loves Jesus. First thing he said, as big as atheist as I am, long-term, well-known atheist, pioneer of atheism. After I was cheering for Mason for years, standing behind him. When I go to the games, I'm always sure I get a picture of number 2, because quite frankly, I like them tall white quarterbacks. I like a pocket passer. Lamar Jackson type, I don't like. I never did like them running quarterbacks. Joe Gillen was a black quarterback who was a pocket passer. I liked him. I liked his style. Doug Williams. So it's not really the black quarterback, it's the pocket passer quarterback. And like I said, a leopard is going to solve problems differently than an elephant. So usually black quarterbacks, I may be stereotyping, but that's what I do because I'm a racist, may have more athletic ability and depend more on athletic ability than arm talent. Or, they know they can run. Or I should say flat out, they may have more athletic ability than a white quarterback or white people in general. I'm not going to go into the fact that there's no white cornerbacks in the NFL. And I think there's only one white running back that's worth anything. I didn't mean to say it that way, but you know what I mean. There's only one noteworthy white running back, Christian McCaffrey, and he up for MVP, which don't surprise me, considering the anomaly and uniqueness he is. Anything he does is going to be magnified. And I get it, and it's obvious. He's going to stand out. But, so I do like Mason. Tall, but his demeanor, Christian ain't got nothing to do with it. His demeanor, his soft-spokenness, his unassuredness, uncomfortable, the way he talks, it's almost a stutter. He's so, not even shy or reserved. It's beyond that. It's like, doesn't make eye contact, like looking down. It's just his presence. But I read someplace that they said he in the huddle, he takes command. On the field, he's, spoken well enough, well-versed. Because my God, in front of the reporters and stuff, I just want to smack him. I can't watch him. It's hard for me to even watch. I just want to smack him. He's like, just so unassured and uncomfortable. I guess he tried to make a joke, and it makes you feel so weird watching him. He makes you uncomfortable watching him. You ain't gonna laugh at anything he said. You're scared to death for him, like he's gonna fall out or something. But anyway, I want to hear him mic'd up. I would love to hear Mason Rudolph mic'd up. You hear how he sounded in the huddle. He always sat on the field talking to the players. He's the veteran there. He knows the offense. I'm sure he studied it. He looks like the type to put the work in. His play has demonstrated that he knows the offense. He knows where players are going to be at, where players should be at. He could be that leader. He could take control like that. And I believe that that's good for the team. It not only helps the offense in the running game, it helps the defense, because the defense isn't on the field most of the time. Our time of possession is it's like astronomical, whatever that word means. Our time of possession is like incredible compared to what is, I can't think of the words at all. Incredible compared to what it's been, which gives TJ Watt and Cam Hayward and Minka some time to rest. Because I've been on this, sitting there row 2, 50-yard line, and see TJ come off the field exhausted. I mean, he's just walking like, and this is somebody who trains and just works and takes care of their body and does everything, have their body at optimal performance, playing performance. And by third, fourth quarter, he coming off, he is exhausted. Because he's out there, he comes, sits down, offense gets the ball, 3 and out. One time, the game was on the line, we needed to go down and get a field goal. The offense got the ball and had the ball for 14 seconds. I mean, not in real time, but in like play time. 3 incomplete passes, and all of a sudden they're giving the ball back. Defense is right back on the field. I'm like, oh God. Mason has changed all that because he's able to execute the offense maybe the way Matt Canada wanted to, and it even opens up Matt Canada's offense. It makes it more, it makes it look more complex because the defense isn't shutting down the running game, and you can't throw because Kenny Pickett ain't got no arm, and you can't trust Trubisky. So Matt Canada might have been there handcuffed. And if that's the case, who made it? And then it's been brought up, who made the decision to bypass Mason Rudolph? Somebody is responsible for that decision. Who made the decision to go out and give Mitch Trubisky all that money? Who made a decision to draft Kenny Pickett? You know, the jury's still out on him. You can't really make that call yet. Let's be honest, you can't really make that call. The jury's still out on Kenny Pickett. But from, I don't want to say all intents and purposes, but history has shown that he should be farther along than he is. He should be farther along after 2 years, 1.5, 2 years in the league than what he is. There's simple things an NFL quarterback should already have mastered. And you got rookies coming in there outplaying Kenny Pickett, who's been in his second year. And Kenny Pickett always getting hurt. He's been hurt 4 times in like a year. In his 2 years and a half, he's been like hurt 4 times. That's not a good sign. Here come Mason. They put Mason in. They said Mason was going to start. I hyped him up. I told everybody, I've been telling people for years, I like Mason Rudolph. Why is Mason Rudolph being mistreated? You know, why is Mason Rudolph this? And he came in, he did. I was so happy for him. And then to see him stand in the pocket. First pass he threw. First pass Mason Rudolph threw when he got the start was the Kenny Pickett 86-yard touchdown. And it was a simple slant across the middle, something you Steelers fans have been begging to have happen. Kenny Pickett don't throw that pass. I don't think in 2 years, I don't think Kenny Pickett threw that pass at all. And when he did, he missed. And Trubisky just throws the interception. And I'm not a person to call a person a bum or to write him off, but I think Trubisky's done. They benched him. Tomlin benched him with 2 minutes left to go in the game. The game was over. Tomlin benched him and brought Mason in, and it was obviously a message. It was a message and a signal to Trubisky. You'll never be a Steeler again. Hopefully you'll never see it take another snap as Steeler quarterback again. And I was with it. For whatever reason, I was with it. So Like I said, Mason comes in, and basically Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, day before Christmas, comes in and saves the day. Day before Christmas Eve, comes in and saves the day. Makes everything look better. Offense, defense, Matt Canada. Hell, you could probably almost go get Matt Canada back. Now that you got somebody that can run his goddamn offense, be under center. That's another thing. To be under center, where you can run the play action, where you can have Najee and them coming downhill, have enough speed, and not standing beside you at a sidecar. They get gain speed towards the hole, then you hand it off to them, or just play action. The things you can do, the difference between being in shotgun or a pistol, and also have being under center. It's just, Mason opens up so much that it almost, and I've said it, and I'm not sure if it's true, but it's fun to say that Kenny Pickett is the problem. Kenny Pickett is the problem with the whole team. Offense, defense, special teams, everything. Because you can't keep the offense moving. The offense can't keep moving. The morale of the whole damn team is like, ah, what the hell for? We get a turnover, and we used to get turnovers. I'm like, so what? Defense will get 3-4 turnovers. I'm like, so what? We ain't gonna be able to do nothing with it. It don't mean nothing. I wouldn't even cheer no more. We get an interception or a fumble, I wouldn't even be happy. I'd be like, oh boy, here we go. Poor defense. Got the ball, leading the league in turnovers. Offense, worse than the history of the NFL. Well, that's probably drastic, but you know what I mean. So, I'm happy with my football team. If Pittsburgh wins tomorrow, Pittsburgh plays Saturday, we play Baltimore tomorrow, they'll probably rest all their starters. And quite frankly, the way Mason Rudolph is playing and the way the Steelers are playing, and I think we're going to get some people back. I think Minka might be back. So-and-so might be back. Of course, they might not be 100%, but just having Minka on the field to help. Moving Patrick Peterson to safety seems to have been a help. We got this dude named Rowe, number 25. He was killing them. I even noticed that myself on TV. Rowe was in it. He was killing them. I don't even know who he was or where we got him from. We got Miles Jack. I mean, Tomlin put a defense together. Tomlin's defense is going to do what it needs to do to a certain point. It's going to bend but not break. Tomlin's defense is going to do what it needs to do. I'm not worried about that part. It's the offense. It's the sophistication of the offense that I was concerned with. And again, that may have come back to the inability of the quarterbacks to execute that offense, to open up the full scope and provide the threats needed to open up the regular, simple plays, the simple handoffs when everybody's not stacked at the line of scrimmage because they know you're not going to throw the ball. Anyway, glad I got that said. So tomorrow, Pittsburgh to play Baltimore, who's locked everything up. They've won the AFC. They'll get a first round bye and home field throughout the playoffs, so they have nothing to play for. So they'll probably rest their starters, not even rest, protect them. My thing too also with that is I'm wondering why I haven't heard it said yet, is Lamar Jackson doesn't have to play in the football game for 3 weeks. Last week, after they won that game, to this week is 1 week, and he won't play this week. They get a bye next week. He don't have to play that, so he won't have to play for 3. He won't play football in real NFL time in 3 weeks. But I'm sure they got ways to, mitigate the rust or whatever that comes. But that's got to be tough. It's got to be tough. And one thing they say about Lamar, he's like one of the only quarterbacks in the league who didn't get hurt. All the other teams, there's like 50 quarterbacks started this year. 50 different quarterbacks started this year. Those quarterbacks have been getting hurt. Lamar didn't get hurt. And he's one of the most versatile running. Of course, he's a black quarterback, but he's a specimen. Lamar Jackson's a specimen. And he's been working on his pocket passing. It's gotten a lot better. Let's just say that. It's gotten a lot better. And he's starting to rely on it a little bit more. He's got OBJ, so, I mean, they might be the best team in football right now. There's no doubt about it. They're probably the best team in football. But they're going to be off for 3 weeks. So you never know what's going to happen. So Pittsburgh needs to win tomorrow. And then Buffalo or Jacksonville, either one has to lose. And it's a scenario where if Pittsburgh loses, some other teams can lose and Pittsburgh still gets in the playoffs. Because I believe if Pittsburgh gets in the playoffs, they can do something. Let me just put that down there. I'm just not trying to get Pittsburgh in the playoffs just so we can get the t-shirt. If Pittsburgh gets in the playoffs, I believe we can do something. Because Tomlin will have them ready. Mason will keep the offense operating efficiently, which will take pressure off the defense. They'll probably get turnovers. And once we're playing hard, Najee is running hard, Jalen Warren's running hard, the offensive line is playing good. It's just, if we get in, and I'm hearing that if we get in, we either got to go to Miami or Kansas City. So, you know, the last time, well, not the last time, but I think it was 2016 or whatever year that was, 2017, where I was at work and I was like, you know, just had a little bit of time and I started Googling stuff. I was like, you know what, my salary and this and that and this and that, I can go to this game. I can afford to go to this game. And that was one of the first time I spontaneously put something together, figured it out. You know, my Google flights, booking.com, rent a car, the whole thing. I put it all together and I actually just did it. Flew to Arrowhead Stadium. Actually saw Pittsburgh Steelers play a game at Arrowhead Stadium. It was something. It really was something, you know. And, you know, who knows? You know, Pittsburgh getting the playoffs, who knows? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Pittsburgh getting the playoffs, who knows? One thing that, especially if it's in Miami, it ain't gonna be cold. Especially if it's in Miami and it's not gonna be cold. Because Kansas City was cold. You know, that's part of the fun, but it ain't. That's part of the fun, but it really ain't. You know, flying to Kansas City, rent a car, get a room or whatever, get a room or not. You know, be there. Be there for number 2. But I don't want to start thinking that far yet. I don't want to start thinking that far. Only thing I want far is thinking Pittsburgh winning tomorrow. And we'll go from there. Pittsburgh win tomorrow, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, or whatever time the Jacksonville game comes on. Watch that one. And then the late game, Miami, Buffalo. NFL set that up beautifully. It's for the division. So Miami wants to win. They don't want to lose that game. They want to win the division, get a home field. So they got reason to play. Buffalo, of course, is playing for their playoff lives. So it should be a good game with a lot riding on it. Now, it would be beautiful if Tennessee, I'm going too far, let me stop. We're just going to start tomorrow with Mason Rudolph and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And yes, I said Mason Rudolph and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mason Rudolph and his Jesus Christ Savior. Mason Rudolph and his Savior, Jesus Christ. Getting out there and getting it done. Oh, did I say the first thing he did after his good game? He had a good game, spectacular. Everything was Mason, Mason, Mason. Stadium was screaming Mason, Mason, Mason. First thing he did when he got on camera was to stutter, stammer, and look all uncomfortable. But he got it out. First thing he wanted to do was thank his Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I just smiled. I was smiling. They said there has to be a God. There has to be a God. Because there's no way all these things in my life happen so beautifully, so wonderfully and intriguingly beautifully. It can't be, it has to be scripted, my God. The things that, you know, how life will throw me a twist or a turn. Not that it matters that, you know, not that it really matters that he's a Christian and devout Christian. Ben was. I think the whole damn Pittsburgh Steelers are. I think they're a Christian organization, actually, or something like that. Because, and I think they're so religious and Christian that they don't even brag about it. I think that their Christianity and their belief in Jesus, the Savior, and all that is so real, they don't even got to tell you about it. That's how thick I think it is there. Because Ben was, Tomlin wears a cross, got no problem with it. Go out and play some football with your faith. Your faith is your faith. What you do on the field, that's what I care about. Who you believe in and why, I could probably say doesn't matter. But I also know that with faith in anything, especially faith in God, it's going to give you a motivation and a strength that not too many things can. As far as a belief system and a faith, I know, I guarantee almost that strengthens people, makes them stronger and just better. And I've said faith makes for a better operating human being, no matter what that faith is in. As long as you have faith, something that you can root your ideas and your ideology, something that'll root you into life and the way life's experiences and the things that happen. A solid mental ideology, solid foundation of belief. That you wake up in the morning and you know which way you're going, and you feel like you got this and that. It's already taken care of and handled, and you just got confidence, that comes with it. So I got no problem with that. Anyway, swinging on y'all 2 times. Swinging on y'all 2 times. For me and for the funk. And for Mason Rudolph and the Pittsburgh Steelers, damn it. You see I'm wearing the hat and the lanyard. And for Mason Rudolph and the Pittsburgh Steelers, and for Mason Rudolph and his Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And for every atom that has ever existed in this or in the universe that ever was, is, or will be. A totality of it all, the theory of universe. An hypothesis of all as one. My name is Sheffield.